Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. You know that incredibly frustrating moment when you're just staring at a sad, wilting houseplant, wondering who the culprit is? Well, besides your watering habits. Look, we've all been there. You buy this gorgeous, vibrant plant, you bring it home, and just a few weeks later, the leaves are curling up, they're turning this sickly yellow, or worse, they're just dropping off entirely. It really feels like a mystery just waiting to be solved.
So today, we're officially playing Plant Detective. We're going to figure out exactly what's wrong with your leafy friends. Now, while there are a ton of potential culprits out in the garden, we are focusing entirely on one prime suspect from our sources today, and that is light intensity. Believe it or not, the way a plant reacts to the light in its environment can tell us almost everything we need to know about its overall health.
Here's our investigation checklist. 1. The Plant Detective's Guide. 2. Biotic versus abiotic suspects. 3. Clues of insufficient light. 4. Symptoms of excess light. 5. The shock of sudden light. And 6. Targeted solutions for light. Section 1. The Plant Detective's Guide.
Before we actually solve the mystery, we've got to properly secure our crime scene. You can't just look at a yellow leaf and magically know the answer. You need a methodical approach. Our sources give us a strict step-by-step diagnostic process. Step 1, describe the exact problem. Is there a color change? Okay, well, where is it? Is it on the old growth at the bottom or the new growth up top? Are the edges damaged or is it the center? Then, step 2, you've got to determine if those weird quirks are actually just normal for that specific plant species. You know, some plants naturally drop their older leaves as they grow, or they have these natural color variations that a panicked plant parent might totally mistake for a disease. You absolutely have to know what normal looks like first.
Section 2. Biotic versus abiotic suspects.
What's really fascinating about plant pathology is how it splits our suspects into two very distinct lineups, the living and the non-living. The biotic factors, those are the living threats. We're talking fungi, bacteria, viruses, or those pesky little insects. Abiotic factors, on the other hand, are the non-living environmental stressors. This includes things like a drought, terrible soil drainage, temperature extremes, and of course, our main focus for today, light. Here's the key takeaway. Before you assume a disease is contagious and start reaching for the heavy chemical treatments, you must rule out those abiotic environmental causes. They are incredibly common and honestly way easier to correct.
Now, to be a good detective, you need the right vocabulary. If you tell an expert your plant is turning yellow, they're going to ask you to be way more specific. And that brings us to chlorosis. That's just the technical term for when your plant's normally green tissue turns yellow or completely loses its color because the chlorophyll is being destroyed. And the pattern of this chlorosis, that is a massive clue.
And that brilliantly illustrates our next term, leaf scorch. This describes the browning that starts right at the very edges of the leaf and creeps its way inward. This usually isn't a bug taking a bite out of your plant. It's actually a sign of severe environmental stress, where the plant literally cannot move water to the tips of its leaves fast enough to keep them alive. Take a look at how this specific yellowing pattern and tissue damage actually looks in reality. This right here is the exact physical evidence we're hunting for. You can clearly see the chlorosis, that yellowing, transitioning right into necrosis, which is the actual dead, brown tissue. Recognizing these visual patterns, that's exactly how we start narrowing down our suspect list.
Section 3. Clues of insufficient light.
The crucial thing here is knowing what a plant looks like when it's just slowly starving in a dark corner. Because remember, plants literally eat light. According to cooperative extension data, insufficient light produces a very specific set of symptoms. You're going to often see the lower, older leaves turn yellow first. Why? Well, because the plant is desperately reallocating its limited energy to the top, where it's hoping to find more sun. You'll also notice that new leaves just stay abnormally small. There is a distinct loss of color variation too, especially in those beautiful variegated plants that suddenly turn entirely green just to maximize whatever chlorophyll they have left. And the plant might even drop buds or leaves entirely, just trying to conserve its dwindling energy. Section 4. Symptoms of excess light.
Let's flip the script completely and see what happens at the totally opposite extreme. Think of a plant just baking on a bright windowsill, because more light isn't always better. Notice the stark contrast here. While starvation yellows the bottom leaves, excess light scorches the top of the plant, or whichever side is directly facing the sun. Instead of just turning a pale green, a plant suffering from excess light is going to develop those brown leaf margins we called scorch earlier. Plus, the leaves will aggressively curl or cup. The poor plant is literally getting overloaded with solar energy.
You can see exactly what that excess light damage looks like in practice. Those dark, scorched patches are signaling that the plant is getting baked way faster than its roots can supply water. The light and the heat cause the plant to lose moisture through its leaves via transpiration at this incredibly rapid rate. If the roots can't keep up, the cells completely lose pressure, and the edges literally crisp up and die.
I absolutely love this analogy from our sources. When your plant's leaves curl, it isn't the plant trying to frustrate you. It's actually just squinting and putting on a hat as a defense mechanism to survive the blazing heat. By curling its leaves, the plant is actively trying to reduce the surface area exposed to that intense sun and dry air. It's trying to trap whatever humidity it can to prevent even more water loss. Honestly, it's a brilliant survival strategy, even if it does look a little bit traumatic to us.
Section 5. The shock of sudden light. Now, sometimes the problem isn't the total amount of light, but the speed of the transition. Even if the final amount of light is technically perfect for that species, the speed at which you introduce it matters immensely. A sudden increase in light, like moving an indoor plant abruptly outdoors for the summer, induces severe shock. The leaves just haven't built up the necessary cellular defenses to handle the harsh UV rays yet. This creates distinct white or yellow leaf spots. They're literal sunburns on your plant's foliage. It can also lead to really spindly, stressed growth as the plant frantically scrambles to adapt to an environment it just wasn't prepared for.
Section 6. Targeted solutions for light.
Okay, so we've analyzed the clues, we've tracked the symptoms, and we've officially identified the culprit. So how do we actually fix it and close this case? Our sources give us some great rapid-fire, actionable fixes. First, simply pull sensitive plants back slightly from hot window glass. If you're moving a plant to a brighter spot, you've got to acclimate it slowly over a period of 1 to 2 weeks so it can build up those cellular defenses. If a window is just entirely too intense, soften those harsh rays with a sheer curtain. To prevent the plant from awkwardly leaning and to ensure all sides get equal energy, just give the pot a quarter turn every week. And finally, track the sun's daily path across your room. A spot that is perfectly, beautifully shaded in the morning might turn into a scorching hot frying pan by 3 p.m.
At the end of the day, remember this: those curling, yellowing, or dropping symptoms, they are not a sign that you're a bad gardener. They're simply your plant's way of communicating its needs based on the environment it's sitting in. So the next time you spot a crispy edge or a curled leaf, you won't panic. You know exactly how to look for the clues. So take a good look at your own indoor garden and ask yourself, is your plant starving in the shadows, squinting in the sun, or just waiting for you to crack the case?